Hello and welcome to my review of the Mechanicum Knight Moirax with lightning locks from ForgeWorld. One of these Armiger class Moiraxes will cost you £37 and consists of around 43 resin parts along with a few of the sprues from the Armiger box set. It doesn't include all of the sprues, so it doesn't have the thermal spear or the Helverin autocannons. It just has the sprues, well, in fact just has these three sprues really. So you've got the main body and the shoulders and the feet. You've got the carapace and the carapace weapons, the back panel, the exhausts and the head, and the legs and the hips, but it doesn't include the the weapon arms. You get them in resin. Now the more I build these, the more I really like them. They're such a fun build, and yes, they are a hybrid kit, a combination of resin and plastic, but they're very nice to put together. I'd still recommend a resin Contemptor Dreadnought as your first resin kit from ForgeWorld if you wanted to get into resin and you wanted to build yourself up to like a Warhound or Warlord Titan or something like that. Although one of these kits is also a nice introduction because it gives you a little bit of work to be done with the plastic, and then it will introduce you to preparing some of the resin pieces. So as always, we're going to have a detailed closer look at this Moirax Knight. I'll go through some size comparisons with the other Armigers and the bigger Knights, and then we'll go through all of its rules, both the Horus Heresy rules and the 40k rules. It's great that you can use it for both systems. So the Knight itself, really cool. You can magnetize the weapons, the weapon arms just here, so you could pop this out and put in like the Volkite weapon or a claw. I haven't done so with mine. That's just because I've got a number of them, and that's just the way I roll. But you can do that with these. You can magnetize them. And while I'm on the subject of magnets, that's the same for nearly all Games Workshop and ForgeWorld models. Even where instructions and the kits themselves aren't designed for magnets, you can still find a way, and you can still magnetize it if you really want to. I've gone for the different head for this one, just to mimic the Knight Styrics in this regard. I've gone for the dual weapon shooty kind of Moiraxes. I've gone for these heads. I'm going to have this head on the other lightning lock Moirax, and I've also got it on the conversion beam cannons as well. You can move the arms about a little bit if you really want. You can take the arms off. I haven't glued the arms into place, so I can just pop them off, and that's going to be handy for when I come to paint them, paint all that detail. Not going to be an awful lot of detail in there, I'll tell you that now, but still, I'd probably say it's worth doing that, and potentially leaving off these armor panels, but you can get away with this, kind of. But yeah, they're the two weapons. It's a shame we can't get these weapons and the Volkite and the GG's side claw, siege claw separately. That would be cool. It would also be cool just to get the Moirax itself, so the head, the carapace, the shoulders, and the armor plates. So if you did have a couple of Armiger sets, you could just tweak them and turn them into Moiraxes if you really wanted to. But yeah, great kit to put together. I'm probably going to be saying a few things in this review as I did with the other Moirax review, but I've gone for this pose, kind of like moving forward and shooting, or maybe targeting, but I've got some options there of moving the arms about. You could magnetize the head up in there if you really wanted to, but otherwise you're going to have to glue it in place because it will drop. But yeah, cool little Knight. The base is bigger than you'd expect, and they're just fun models to put together. Right, so size comparisons. Of course, next to the Volkite one, it's going to be exactly the same height. I've also very recently, finished the conversion beamer Moirax. So yes, right there in just that shot, there's over £100 worth of Knights just in those three little ones. Compared to the Armiger Warglaive with the thermal spear, same height as well. And of course with the Helverin, they're all going to be the same height little knights, but they're so cool. Now moving on to bigger knights, here we have a Questoris size knight, paladin, in my Knight House Titan colours. Probably be better if I move the camera angle down for this one. So yeah, I mean, they kind of do go up to almost up to the head, the carapace, but they're still, yeah, a fair bit smaller than your typical knights. I like to show the size comparison between the Moiraxes, because they are Mechanicum knights, with you know, the Styrics, because they share similar kind of armour plating and things. I'm yet to glue that siege claw into place, but it's probably going to be in that kind of pose. And then compared to a Cerastus size knight, yeah, they're going to be a lot smaller than these. I don't think that one of these could run underneath their legs. I don't think they're that small, but yeah, they're much smaller than the Cerastus size, and of course they'll be even smaller than the Acastus and the Porphyrion and Asterius. The last size comparison I always like to do is just with some Space Marines. So we've got a normal Space Marine there on the left, we've got Primaris on the right, and Slam Marbo in the middle. Even these Moiraxes, these Armiger class knights, are going to dwarf a Primaris force. The closest thing you'll get to a size of one of these is a Redemptor Dreadnought. I actually think that they share the same size base as well, but that's the closest you'll get in terms of height for these ones. Okay, and the very last thing that I need to do with this Moirax with lightning locks is just go through all of the juicy rules for them. Now there are rules for both Warhammer 40,000 and Horus Heresy on ForgeWorld's website, which is fantastic, and I'd much rather this happen for, well, all of the units that are out there. But specifically, there are rules for 40k for the Armiger Moirax, but also for the War Dog Moirax. So yes, you can take it in a Chaos force, Chaos Knight force. Let's go through the Horus Heresy rules first of all. So it's going to have exactly the same rules as the Moirax that I reviewed a few days ago with the Volkite View Glare and the GG's Siege Claw. So there are 185 points. Weapon skill is 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 7, front and side armour are both 12, rear armour is 11, initiative 4, 2 attacks, 4 hull points. The war gear in this instance has the 2 lightning locks. We'll go through them in a moment. Special rules: Moirax Talon, household rank, Questoris Knight Crusade detachment only, Gruso protocol, move through cover. And the options, the unit may take up to 3 additional Mechanicum Knight Moirax. You can have 4 of them for 155 points each, and any Mechanicum Knight Moirax may exchange its Volkite View Glare for one of the following weapons. So an Armiger Conversion Beam Cannon for 10 points, GG Siege Claw built Rad Cleanser for free, Lightning Lock for 5, Graviton Pulsar for 10, and you can also swap the GG Siege Claw with inbuilt Rad Cleanser for one of the following weapon options: Volkite View Glare for free, Lightning Lock for 5 points, and Graviton Pulsar for 10. So that means that for 10 points more, so 195 points, you're able to field this with the Lightning Locks. The War Gear, it has an Ionic Flare field, which basically grants it a 5+ invulnerable save against all shooting attacks, and the strength of any shooting attacks made against the model equipped with this item, which has the blast or template rules, are reduced by -1. The Construct Shield also has an armor value of 11, glancing or penetrating hits, and scored against Construct Shield that causes it to collapse, and then further hits strike the model instead. Invulnerable saves cannot be taken against hits sustained by a Construct Shield. So a little bit like a Void Shield in a way. So special rules: you've got the Gruso protocol, when within 12 inches of friendly siege automata, War Construct Ordinatus or Questoris Knight, which is target of a charge move, and Mechanicum Knight Moirax that is not locked in combat may make a single shooting attack against the charging unit if it is within range, as if the attack were made during the shooting phase. This attack is made immediately after a charge is declared, before the charging unit is moved. Moirax Talon, when first deployed on the battlefield, The Knights in a Talon must be placed within 6 inches of each other. Afterwards, they are not treated as a vehicle squadron, but operate independently as individual units for the purposes of taking any actions, as well as determining victory points. Household rank. A Mechanicum Knight Moirax Talon must select the Scion Amuntar household rank when taken as part of a Questoris Knight Crusade detachment. Troops rank. Scion Amuntar free. It may not be held in reserve and must be deployed further than 6 inches away from friendly Questoris Knight if possible. So weapons wise, we'll just focus on the lightning locks because that's what this one is equipped with. They're a range of 36 inches, strength 6, AP 3, heavy 1, rending, shred and blast. So, and it's a 3-inch blast, so that's nice. So they only get one shot and it's the little 3-inch blast marker, but they are AP3, so that's very, very decent in that they can move about. They've got the 3+ to hit with these little blast weapons, and with the AP3 they're fantastic at just deleting nice little pockets of Space Marine equivalent units. Okay, that's the Horus Heresy rules. Let's have a look at the 40k rules. So for these rules I will be taking them from the Imperial Armour Compendium book that came out in 2020. The Knight Moirax is of course a Lord of War, and it's a power points cost of an 8. It's also a points cost of 155 points. It includes the lightning locks. You don't have to pay any more for that. The only thing you have to pay more for is the conversion beam cannons. It's one of these vehicles where the number of wounds remaining affects the rest of its stat line. So it starts off with 12 wounds, and if it's got 7 or more wounds, it has a movement of 12 inches, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, toughness 7, 4 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. If it's got between 4 and 6 wounds, its movement drops to 10 inches, its weapon skill drops to 4+, and ballistic skill drops to 4+. And when it's only got between 1 and 3 wounds, its movement drops to 8 inches, weapon skill down to 5+, and ballistic skill down to 5+. If the unit contains 2 models, it has a power rating of 16. If the unit contains 3 models, it has a power rating of 24. Every model is equipped with a Rad Cleanser, Siege Claw, Volkite Fugler. So any number of models can each have their Volkite Fugler replaced with one of the following: 1 Siege Claw and 1 Rad Cleanser, 1 Graviton Pulsar, 1 Lightning Lock, 1 Moirax Conversion Beam Cannon. Any number of models can each have their Siege Claw and Rad Cleanser replaced with one of the following: 1 Graviton Pulsar, 1 Lightning Lock, 1 Moirax Conversion Beam Cannon, 1 Volkite Fugler. So that's fantastic. So you can take 2 of each, 2 Siege Claws, 2 Moirax Conversion Beam Cannons, 2 Lightning Locks, as in this case. So the Lightning Lock, it's a range of 36 inches, heavy 6, strength 6, AP -2, damage 1, and each time an attack is made with this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 2 additional hits. That's where it's at. So you're getting 6s for 12 shots. Say you get 3 or 4, then you're getting an extra 6 shots on top of your possible 12. So this thing could possibly pump out, well, let's just say you were super lucky and they were all 6s, which is almost impossible, but let's just say that was the case. Then you would get an additional 24 shots on top of your 12, so you get 36 shots. I know that's extremely unlikely, but I just wanted to make that point that these things can pump out a lot of shots from range, and nice effective range there. So that is the Lightning Lock. It's always great to have these Moiraxes equipped with the same weapon. Then you can really focus on specific targets and enemies. The abilities: they have an Iron Shield, Vehicle Squadron, explodes when the model is destroyed, roll a d6 before removing it from play, and on a 6 it explodes. Each unit within 6 inches suffers d3 mortal wounds. And protection protocols: whilst this model is within 6 inches of any friendly household Titanic models, it can perform heroic interventions as if it were a character. This model is eligible to perform a heroic intervention if it is within 6 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of any enemy unit. Each time this model makes a heroic intervention move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3 inches. All other rules for heroic intervention still apply. Keywords: Imperium, Imperial Knights, Questo Allegiance, Household, Vehicle, Armiger Class, Knight Moirax. So there you go, that's my review of this Knight Moirax with lightning locks. I think the rules are so good, and they can certainly pump out a fair number of shots. It's nice that they're getting 6 shots per lightning lock, so you're definitely going to get 12 shots compared to the Armiger Helverin, where on average you're only going to get about 8. Yes, there is a possibility of you getting 12, but these Moiraxes, you're definitely going to get 12 shots. The lightning locks, although they're 1 less strength, they are arm penetration of -2, and on 6s you're getting chances of pretty much tripling the number of shots that they're going to pump out. So against hordes, these things are incredible. If you want to go against hordes, but you really want to keep your distance, or even just harass enemy models, then the Helverins are a better choice in that regard. What do you guys think of the Knight Moirax with lightning locks? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. As always, it'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.